John Lennon disapproved of the Rolling Stones' guitar solo. The Beatles and the Rolling Stones' histories have been continuously revised by the music industry. It was only natural for the press to pit the two bands against one another, with the Stones being hailed as the nastier version of what the Beatles wanted to be, despite the fact that both groups may have cemented a place in music history as a result of the British invasion. Although the musicians themselves tended to get along well, Keith Richards recalled John Lennon being forthright about his opinion of their music, but if not for the Beatles, the Stones would probably not be where they are today. Before they saw Lennon and Paul McCartney finish the song I Wanna Be Your Man in front of them, Mick Jagger and Keith Richards were comfortable playing other people's tunes during their musical education in the London clubs. Jagger and Richards were instantly moved, and they swiftly rose to the top of the songwriting world, producing some of the most vile rock and roll songs of the 1960s, such Satisfaction. Lennon was unimpressed by one of the guitar breaks Richards put down on one of their early songs, despite the fact that the girls may have taken to the powerful melodies and the stage persona of Jagger and Richards. By the standards of the Fab Four, the Stones' initial attempts at ballads would be hit and miss aside from the blues-infused successes they were famous for. Richards recalls that Lennon was enraged when he heard the song It's All Over Now, despite the fact that Lennon would approve of the Stones' overall style. Richards noted how ruthless Lennon was about his solo break when addressing the song in his book Life, saying, "John could be extremely direct. He simply made a crude remark to me on my solo in the middle of It's All Over Now, as far as I can recall. He considered it to be garbage. Perhaps that day, he awoke on the wrong side of the bed." Lennon would continue to drag the band through the muck at least once more. Lennon expressed his frustration with the band's apparent ability to mimic the group while discussing the striking stylistic parallels between the two bands, saying that all they cared about was listening to the Beatles and then imitating them with their own spin. The Stones soon assumed the title as rock's most durable band after the Beatles disbanded, thanks in part to a succession of albums like Beggar's Banquet that showed them rediscovering their bluesy roots. Richards was aware that Lennon still had a strong passion for what the band accomplished, despite his nasty tongue. Richards has previously stated in his biography that he felt a subtle affinity with Lennon throughout the years because he was so honest. This may be embarrassing in anyone else. But John had an openness about him that drew you to him. Had a certain intensity. He was unique. As I am. We had a peculiar attraction to one another. Undoubtedly a two-alpha conflict to begin with.